All right, I'm going to start this day off by saying we're not going to look at the past. We're going to let that go. I'm about to start talking about MVP, and I'm not going to talk about 2023, even though we know that that was pure and utterly nonsense in 2023. But let's talk about 2024 and the MVP, the unanimous MVP for the WNBA for the 2024 season. And that is, of course, none other than A'ja Wilson, who was the most dominant player all season long. She didn't take the first part of the season off in preparation for the Olympics. She didn't come back worse after the Olympics. She was solid and amazing from the beginning until the end. Congratulations, A'ja Wilson. The voters got it completely correct. No shenanigans in that so far this season in any of the voting. And I love that A'ja Wilson came out and definitively won the MVP for the WNBA. MVP is it's always a runaway race, I should say, or either it's really close between two people. But this year there was no doubt in my mind who was going to get the most valuable player award from the beginning, from the jump. A'ja Wilson was playing like a woman on a mission. She was playing like a woman who had something to prove, even though she didn't. She was the most dominant player last season as well. So we are excited that the voters got it right, because it's important for the voters to get it right. It's important that there is integrity and that there is a system in place to ensure that the people who deserve what they work for get what they work for, actually are awarded what they work for. So congratulations, A'ja. Now let's talk about her. For those of you, as I love to say, who are new here, let's talk about just how amazing A'ja Wilson was this season. Let's talk about the fact, first of all, as much as people like for the MVP to be an individual award, it does have something to do with how well your team does. We can talk about that later, but I can't remember a time when an MVP has gotten that award and their team like absolutely sucked. Can't remember a time. I'm sure it's happened in the past in our history, but I can't remember, because there is some connection to that. So A'ja has led her team this season. They are entering the playoffs, obviously, today in fourth place. And it's been a great year for other teams. That's the way I want it. I don't want teams to run away and it's like everybody, you're up here and everybody else is down here. That's not a WNBA that I want to experience. I want there to be some shakeup. I love dominance. I played for the Houston Comets, and they were dominant those first 4 years, even though I didn't play for them on that first season. In that first season, I love dominance, but I don't want a league where there's a super team and everybody else is terrible. I want there to be a lot of shakeup where you think one team is going to win and then another team swoops in and starts playing well and starts dethroning the champion. So I'm happy to see what happened in this season for the W, for the sake of the W and for our fans, but very much happy that A'ja won this award. Undoubtedly put together a season that was unlike anything else, averaging 26 points per game, 11.9 rebounds, 2.6 blocks per game. 2 weeks ago, she broke the league's single season scoring record and became the first player to crack 1,000 points in a season. That is badass right there. So very excited to see that. And those kinds of records are going to continue to be broken as we get even better players in the league. A'ja's scoring record was broken. It was usually, let me slow that down. Her scoring average broke the 25.3 points per game record set by Diana Taurasi in 2006, and she did it on league-leading 51.8% shooting. She's the first player to lead the league in total points, rebounds, and blocks in the season. Her season highlights are a list of records from the season's two highest scoring records games, 42 and 41, to the most consecutive games with 20 or more points. She scored at least 20 points in all but 4 of the Aces games, another record, and posted the highest single season average of defensive rebounds per game at 9.8. A'ja Wilson kicked ass this year. Let's keep it a buck. Y'all probably saw the moment where Commissioner Kathy Engelbert called A'ja and said, we got to stop meeting like this, and told her that she had won the MVP award. A'ja cried in A'ja fashion, and it's interesting because her production this season was as much as I said I don't want to talk about last year. Her production this season felt like, and from people that I know who are close to her, like she was so fueled by what she seems to think was disrespect last season. Again, we don't know the person who did it. Wink, wink. But but Asia felt like it was disrespect to put together a season that she put together last year and not to be named MVP. So she had an elevated year this year. She was playing like a woman, as I said earlier, who had something to prove, and she did, and she did. And I want journalists on the voting committee. I've been on that before when I called the league before, where you are voting for people, and there has to be a level of integrity and a level of professionalism, and it can't get personal. It can't get personal. Yeah, we even journalists are skewed and influenced by hype around our game, but when it comes down to it, and it's you and that ballot in your heart of hearts, in your room by yourself, there's nobody around, and you're making those selections. It has to be integrity led. And sometimes people are going to get it wrong. Sometimes people are going to do things because other people do them, because they are influenced by what other people are doing. Sometimes they're going to have a personal bias. Whatever it is, there's no room for that in our game. If you were chosen to vote, then the people who chose you to vote because they believe that you can put everything aside other than performance for those awards. So I wanted to just put that out there so that we know that there has to be some stuff that's still pure in our game. Like, fandom is getting crazy. People are acting up online, but ultimately you want to believe that people who are in office, people who are journalists covering our sport, people who are leading our league and those kinds of things, that they will do the right thing. So that's my soapbox on that. So what are your thoughts on the MVP race in 2024? And more importantly, do you think the Las Vegas Aces are going to repeat and win their third championship? We'll see you in the next one.